Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Sundari Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्ण Hare Krishna, welcome everybody. So today we have in between us His Grace Vishnu Chitta Prabhu. He started practicing Krishna consciousness since 2010 and he joined the ashram in 2012. And Prabhuji was engaged in youth preaching from 2012 to 2015. And Prabhuji has been secretary to His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj from 2015 to 2017. And after that, Prabhuji went to New York for preaching Krishna consciousness. And he did preaching over there from 17 to 2020. And as you all may be knowing about Krishna Life, which is there in New York. So Prabhuji founded that and he inspired
In Atlanta, not New York. It's in Atlanta.
Yeah, so it's in Atlanta. So Prabhuji is, he is inspiring everybody over there. And you may be knowing about Mahotsaha Prabhu, who did the highest book score. So Mahotsaha Prabhu is also from that same center. And we are very thankful, Prabhuji, that even in such a short notice, Prabhuji agreed to come, and he also requested other devotees to come. We are all thankful to you all to kindly came and gave us your association. And I would request you to kindly enlighten us with a few words and a nice lecture so that we can serve Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj in a much better way. So we would all thank Prabhuji by loudly chanting Hare Krishna once.
So I was also asked to mention about these other devotees. So we have amongst us here Mitravan Prabhu, Matsya Prabhu, Abhimanyu Sutta Prabhu, and Bhakta Nick. So these are brahmacharis, in our ashram and Krishna life. Mitravan Prabhu, you came 2017. You got introduced to Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So Mitravan Prabhu is from Alabama. If you know anything about the geography of the United States, it's in the southeast. Anyways, don't worry. So he got a book of Srila Prabhupada. What book did he get? Bhagavad Gita.
Gita's principally Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. So he got Bhagavad Gita. He distributed that at his university where he was studying. Then Prabhu, there was no association in the entire state that he was living in. And so he had to call a temple up in another state, and they directed him to another center that was over 1,000 miles away.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Yeah, 1,000 miles away. So Prabhu was so interested in Krishna consciousness that he moved all the way across the country to join that ashram there. Then he met us when we came down from New York to that city, Philadelphia. And in that way he joined us. He joined us in New York. And from there he came down with us to Atlanta, where we're based. Krishna is based in Atlanta. Now Mitravan Prabhu is personal editor for Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. He serves as a personal editor. Now that's his main service. He edits Maharaj's future books. So Mitravan Prabhu works on Maharaj's future books. That's his main service. And this is Matsya Prabhu, Abhimanyu Sutta Prabhu. So Abhimanyu Sutta Prabhu, you joined in 2021, but you started practicing in 2020, or yeah. So you started practicing in 2020. Prabhu's grandfather is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Dilguj Prabhu, who's based in New Talavan. So Prabhu is the third. So Mahotsaha Prabhu is #1 book distributor in the world. Abhimanyu Sutta Prabhu is #3. Rigupati Prabhu is #2. Yeah, Rigupati Prabhu is #2. You're #3. Okay. So Matsya Prabhu, he also started practicing in 2020 or 20? Yeah, 2020. Yeah, but you started practicing before that, 2019? Early 2020. Yeah, so he found a book in one of his school, basically in his school desk. Underneath the desk, he found one of Srila Prabhupada's books. He read that, he had to write an essay on meditation or something, mantra meditation or something like that. So he used Srila Prabhupada's books to write that essay. And in that way, he used to chant on and off. And then he went to New Vrindavan. He visited New Vrindavan with his friend. And there, that was the first time you had association with devotees. That's the first time you saw. First time he saw devotees, he bought a Bhagavatam set. A Srimad Bhagavatam set, right? So, and then from there he was directed to two Prabhupada disciples, Apurva Prabhu and Kamalini Mataji. who then, would conduct regular classes. To him, Matsya Prabhu would go to their house and go into the temple and serve. And then seeing that he was a young boy, Kamalini Mataji, she's a lifelong book distributor, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Apurva Prabhu is one of the movement's best cooks from Srila Prabhupada's time. He's even written a book. He's written only one book? Co-authored it. Co-authored a book on cooking. And Kamalini Mataji, since the day she joined, and I think in 1973 or 74 is when she joined. From then on till today, she continues to distribute books. And she's a lifelong book distributor. And she directed him to come to Krishna Life. So Matsya Prabhu came there and joined, and Matsya Prabhu is number 4. Right? As far as my knowledge goes. Yeah, in the world. Yeah, he's number 4. So by Krishna's mercy, we have many wonderful book distributors. Bhakta Nick was, you could say, our first devotee in Atlanta. We moved to Atlanta. He's the first devotee we managed to make. He got a book from Mahotsa Prabhu. Yeah, Mahotsa Prabhu gave him a Saptarishi. No, he got a Bhakta stack. Okay. He got a Bhakta stack. He came to the Sunday program, got a Saptarishi set, and started practicing like that. And he's also really, really good book distributor. I don't know where you are on the chart, but he's within the top 10 in the world. That much I know. And so yeah, he's also a law graduate. Matsya Prabhu is a law graduate. Nick is a law graduate. We're not a law graduate. So Bhakta Nick is a law graduate. And yeah, so that's a little bit of an introduction. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we can start. I'm going to be reading from Canto 5, Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 11, Text 17. Okay, 5, 11, 17. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 11, Text 17. Okay, please repeat. Bhratir vyamenam tadadabraviryam. Bhratir vyamenam tadadabraviryam. Upekshaya dhyedidam apramattaha. Upekshaya dhyedidam apramattaha. Guru Haresh Charano Pasanastro. Guru Haresh Charano Pasanastro. Jahivyalikam Swayam Atma Mosham. Jahivyalikam Swayam Atma Mosham. Bhratir vyamenam tadadabraviryam. Upekshaya dhyedidam apramattaha. Guru Haresh Charano Pasanastro. Jahivyalikam Swayam Atma Mosham. Bhratir vyamenam tadadabraviryam. Upekshaya dhyedidam apramattaha. Guru Haresh Charano Pasanastro. Jahivyalikam Swayam Atma Mosham. Please repeat.
भ्रातृर्व्यमेनं तददब्रवीर्यम्
भ्रातृव्यमेनं तदब्रवीर्यम्
उपेक्षया धेदितम् अप्रमत्तः
उपेक्षया धेदितमप्रमत्तः
गुरोर्हरिश्चरणोपासनास्त्रो
गुरोर्हरिश्चरणोपासनास्त्रो
जहि व्यलीकं स्वयमात्ममोषम्
जहि व्यलीकं स्वयमात्ममोषम्
भ्रातृव्यमेनं तदब्रवीर्यम्
भ्रातृव्यमेनं तदब्रवीर्यम्
उपेक्षया ध्येदितमप्रमत्तः
उपेक्षया धेदितमप्रमत्तः
गुरोर्हरिश्चरणोपासनास्त्रो
गुरोर्हरिश्चरणोपासनास्त्रो
जहि व्यलीकं स्वयमात्ममोषम्
जहि व्यलीकं स्वयमात्ममोषम्
भ्रातृव्यमेनं तरडभ्रवीर्यम्
भ्रातृव्यमेनं तदब्रवीर्यम्
उपेक्षया ध्येदितमप्रमत्तः
उपेक्षया धेदितमप्रमत्तः
गुरोर्हरिश्चरणोपासनास्त्रो
गुरोर्हरिश्चरणोपासनास्त्रो
जहि व्यलीकं स्वयमात्ममोषम्
जहि व्यलीकं स्वयमात्ममोषम्
Mataji, anybody? You want?
भ्रातृव्यमेनं तदब्रवीर्यम् उपेक्षया धेदितमप्रमत्तः गुरोर्हरिश्चरणोपासनास्त्रो जहि व्यलीकं स्वयमात्ममोषम्
Okay, word to word translations. Bhratrivyam,
भ्रातृव्यम्
the formidable enemy. Enam, this mind. Tat, that. Adabhraviryam, very, very powerful. Upekshaya, by neglecting. Adhyeditam, unnecessarily increased in power. Apramattaha, one who is without illusion. Guroho, of the spiritual master. Harehe, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Charana, of the lotus feet. Upasana astraha, applying the weapon of worshipping. Jahi, conquer. Vyaligam, false. Swayam, personally. Atmamosham, which covers the constitutional position of the living entity. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy of the living entity. If one neglects it or gives it a chance, it will grow more and more powerful and it will become victorious. Although it is not factual, it is very strong. It covers the constitutional position of the soul. O King, please try to conquer this mind by the weapon of service to the lotus feet of the spiritual master and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do this with great care. Purport. There is one easy weapon by which the mind can be conquered: neglect. The mind is always telling us to do this or that. Therefore, we should be very expert in disobeying the mind's orders. Gradually, the mind should be trained to obey the orders of the soul. It is not that one should obey the orders of the mind. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that to control the mind, one should beat it with shoes many times just after awakening and again before going to sleep. In this way, one can control the mind. This is the instruction of all the Shastras. If one does not do so, one is doomed to follow the dictations of the mind. Another bona fide process is to abide strictly by the orders of the spiritual master and engage in the Lord's service. Then the mind will be automatically controlled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed Srila Rupa Goswami, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. When one receives the seed of devotional service by the mercy of the Guru and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one's real life begins. If one abides by the orders of the spiritual master, by the grace of Krishna, he is freed from service to the mind. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayana Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswati Vyasa, Tato Jaya Mudir. So, this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam appears in the conversation between King Rahugana and Jadabharat, the two personalities. So, the prelude to this conversation is that Jadabharat has been asked to carry the palanquin of the king. Now, Jadabharat is a great sadhu who's completely disinterested in everything material. He was so disinterested that basically, even though he was very learned and he was very intelligent, he acted like a dumb and illiterate person. So he never spoke. And just because he didn't want people in the world to recognize him, he just wanted people to ignore him, to neglect him. So anyways, he, by various circumstances, he was asked to carry the palanquin of the king. And while carrying the palanquin of the king, he's seeing ants and other insects on the road, and he's trying to avoid stepping on them. So you can imagine the person who's sitting on the palanquin getting, it's not a very pleasant ride for the king, as it is the king. It's not any normal person. It's the king, and he has to be carried. So king becomes very angry, and he chastises Jadabharat. And that's the first time Jadabharat decides to speak. And at that time when he speaks, King Rahugana understands just by the way he's speaking, because he speaks great words of wisdom. I'm not going to go into the detail. If you are interested, read Srimad Bhagavatam. King Rahugana immediately he stops and he starts to seek instruction. Now this verse is talking about the mind. It's actually a very, very nice verse. There's so many gems in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is one of those gems. In one verse, the entire position of the mind is described and the solution is also described in just one verse. And it's very interesting because King Rahugana, before he received instruction from Jadabharat, is influenced by anger. He's got a lot of anger. He's getting angry. And why is he getting angry? Because his comfort is getting disturbed. His situation in life is getting disturbed. And so conditioned living entities, materialistic people, and they become disturbed, one of the things they generally become subject to is anger. You have anger issues. I was observing, we're currently staying at ISKCON Mira Road, trying to get some medical treatment done before we get back to the United States. So there I came to the temple room in the evening just to take darshan of the deities, and I saw quite a few people sitting in front of the deities, like this, cross-legged with their eyes closed, like this. Now what are they trying to do? Trying to get some peace. And it's ironical because actually as devotees, you don't go in front of Krishna and close your eyes. whole purpose, you go in front of Krishna, you open your eyes, you see Krishna. No, you don't close your eyes in front of Krishna. But anyways, people who don't understand, they don't understand. For them, they cannot, because they don't have the knowledge, they cannot recognize that Krishna, who is on the altar, who is the deity of Krishna, is not different from Krishna himself. He is Sakshat, he is Krishna himself. There is no difference between the deity of Krishna and Krishna. But materialists, because they don't understand anything spiritual, they think that everything is material. They think that they're sitting on marble and the deity is also made of marble, so it's the same thing. But they think, okay, there's some spiritual power inside the temple, and so they sit like this and trying to tap into whatever they can. But the main thing is, especially in a city like Mumbai, people are extremely disturbed. I mean, we are quite surprised. How quickly we're able to get doctor's appointments. Doctors work till 9 p.m. and then they start working. We had they did laser for their eyes. They did a procedure, LASIK surgery for their eyes, a procedure for their eyes. And the clinic opened at 7 o'clock. And the doctor was working till 9 p.m., 9:30. And he came to the clinic like 7:30, which means he left home and was stuck in traffic at 6:30 in the morning. He was stuck in traffic in Mumbai. I mean, how much time did he have that night to spend with his family or with his, children or anything like that? I mean, hardly would have had time to sleep also. Of course, he's making a lot of money. But, there is no peace. So people like that they come to the temple room and they sit there. And those few 5 minutes, if somehow they can spare that 5-10 minutes and come and sit in the temple, it's like a major achievement for them, because life is so disturbing. So people try to seek this relief from the mind, because there's so much anxiety, there's so much pressure. The mind, actually there's a previous verse, so we'll read 2 verses before this. I'm just going to I'll chant the Sanskrit and read the translation. Nayavadekam tanubhrin narendra vidhuyamayam vayunodayena vimukta sango jitasat sapatno vedatma tattvam brahmadiha tavad. My dear King Rahugana, as long as the conditioned soul accepts the material body and is not freed from the contamination of material enjoyment, and as long as he does not conquer his 6 enemies and come to the platform of self-realization by awakening his spiritual knowledge, he has to wander among the different places and different species in this life. So the mind is literally the only reason why we are going through samsara chakra, why we are being born again and again and again, why are we going through birth, death, old age and disease. See, almost everybody in India accepts that rebirth is a reality, reincarnation is a reality. There is karma, therefore there is birth again, right? Rebirth. But hardly people actually act on that platform. They don't. It doesn't sink in. It's almost like they accept it, but after accepting, they don't really do anything about it. And a devotee, see, like King Rahugana was a sincere soul. See, he was affected by anger. He was materialistic. He was the king. And obviously he has wife, he has children, probably many wives, many children, lots of responsibilities, lots of duties. But a sincere soul is one, when he hears the message like this, he hears that as long as the conditioned soul accepts the material body, is not freed from contamination of material existence, and as long as he does not conquer his enemies, he will take birth again and again. Immediately he thinks. It clicks. He thinks about it. It makes him pause. Which is why hearing is so important. Because it is only by the ear that we are stopped. That also, it's a sincere soul who stops. There are insincere souls. You tell them also, they'll keep going on. They are no different to animals. Animal, you can tell anything. It will go on its duty, that's all. And a good example of that is a buffalo. That's why people go, they say you're like a buffalo. But why? Because buffalo especially when it rains, it will stand in the middle of the road and it will enjoy the rain. And so many cars and scooters are all honking. It will stand there, just to stand, until someone takes a stick or something and beats it out of the way. It will not move. It doesn't care. So one whose intelligence is so dull like that of an animal, he is like a buffalo. Even if there is so much honking which disturbs any other person, everybody else is disturbed. Buffalo is not disturbed. So, he is fixed in his determination to enjoy, in spite of causing inconvenience to how many other people that may be. He doesn't care. As long as I am happy, as long as I get what I want, I don't care about others. Now, some foolish people may think, well, that's a nice position. Right? Look, Buffalo is so happy. I'm not happy. Buffalo is happy. Buffalo doesn't have debt. Buffalo doesn't have to go to school. Buffalo just stands on the street, and somehow it's living and looks very fat also. So, but this is all nonsense, because Buffalo is living a life of ignorance. Even that so-called peaceful life for the buffalo will come to an end. And this is the beauty, right? In this material world, actually everything, it is so temporary, it is so fleeting. We don't remember who we were married to in our last life. We don't remember who our kids were. We don't remember any of these things. And generally, if we think of our life, generally if you are little thinking, you think, oh, that happened, this happened, and now, I'm here, and you think, wow, time passed so fast. Generally people say that, right? Everything went so quickly. You grew up so quickly. You were such a small boy, you grew up so quickly. Everything they say quickly. Nobody says you grew up slowly. I've never heard that. I've heard this. You grew up so quickly. Wow, it looks like it felt like yesterday. I saw you, felt like yesterday. Nobody said, I felt like it was forever. Nobody says that. Because innately we also understand time is moving fast. Everything is temporary and everything is quick and everything gets over like this. But still, in that meantime, we are trying to make so much arrangements for sense gratification, and there's so much anxiety because of that. Because we all know at the bottom of our heart, time is limited. Right? We all know time is limited. So what does that mean? Time to achieve sense gratification is also limited. And so people are in stress. You're not living forever. So you have to make money, you have to get a job, you have to do this, you have to do that. So people are in anxiety. And now people who are going through this cycle, when they hear a sadhu, when they hear a devotee, when they receive Srila Prabhupada's books, they are stopped. At least they pause for a second. Wait, that sounds like something valid. And then, just like Rahugana, King Rahugana, he was angry at Jadabharat, but when Jadabharat spoke some words of wisdom, immediately King Rahugana, he stopped. He said, wait, you're speaking something. You seem to be a very, you look like a very unlearned, like unpad, as they say in India. You look like some unpad. But you seem like a very enlightened sadhu. So then the instructions start to come. So this is very important, that as devotees, we must always remember, we must always contemplate about the temporality of this material world, of the nature of this material world. And it is not a depressing thing. Why is it not a depressing thing? Because just by remaining ignorant of something, the problem doesn't go away. And by closing your eyes, nothing goes away. It's like, and by contemplation on that which is temporary, combined with the practice of Krishna consciousness, one achieves the eternal nectar that one is always seeking for, the eternal happiness that one is always seeking for. And what is stopping us from doing this? The mind. It is literally the mind. See, the mind is such a thing. It's the repository of all these emotions. Mind is where all the emotions are all stored. So, see, otherwise, the skin wants to touch something soft. But the skin may touch something soft. That's okay. But all that emotions that come from that touching that thing soft and then dreaming about touching that thing that is soft, that all comes in the mind. So therefore, material enjoyment is described as manasija. What is manasija? Manasija means born of the mind. Manasija. Ja means to be born or to come from. So manasija, it is born from the mind. The act of sense gratification, this is so common. We're driving through India and you see all these roads, you see these big billboards, all advertising all apartments. More than any other advertisement, you see these huge advertisements for all these apartments and condominiums. Everywhere there is, sign of some beauty. There's one sign I saw. There's a beautiful lady sitting on a balcony, and the thing was enjoy some breeze and the views. And I was thinking, after the apartment comes, what view you get? You get view of the slum nearby. You get view of some drainage sewer nearby. But in the picture, it's like some I don't know what. It's some other place. It looks like some or another place they made some artificial beach. Yeah, something, some Hawaii, or they think they're like in the middle of New York or something. And in the metro train also, we were going the other day and I saw this Bhavishyati Mumbai, whatever, something there, it was written, future Mumbai. And in that future Mumbai, everybody is driving in roads that are completely clean and they're following lanes. Nobody follows lanes in India. It was a joke to see that advertisement. They follow lanes and they're coming, everything is clean. There's no traffic on the road, by the way. Any car advertisement you see, there's no traffic in the car advertisement. Because they have to show that advertisement is going really fast. You can never go fast. They won't show you those big potholes in the car advertisement. And they're acting as if you're cruising in some highway in Germany or something like this. It doesn't exist, and that's why people want to go to the West. They want to go to the West. They want to see, finally, what they advertise so much in India. See, it's actually real. I can actually drive on a highway so fast. Miserable. You will drive. Your enjoyment of driving, you'll say, I want to drive. I'm going to drive. Okay, there's a famous highway in the United States called Highway 1. It's in California. Goes from San Francisco north. It's across the California Bay, the Bay Area and all that. It's a very, very scenic drive, right? And so people dream about driving that. Dream. But actually, when you drive it, that drive is over in 1-2 hours. Finished. After that, what? But the dreaming will go on for 4 months, 5 months. Because he has to plan, he has to make finances, this, that, I'm going to drive. And then when he's driving, he's taking, so many pictures and videos. I'm enjoying, And then you take those pictures, and whenever you feel depressed, you open those pictures. Sometime I enjoyed, I enjoyed at some point of time. So, this enjoyment is all in the mind. Because the senses that we have, the eyes, the nose, the ear, this becomes very quickly saturated. You see, you like gulab jamun. You eat 1, you eat 2, you eat 3, you eat 4. After some time, you can't eat anymore. Senses become, senses. But mind is telling, hey, you're supposed to enjoy the gulab jamun. How come you're giving up so? You dreamed about gulab jamun for so long, you're only eating 5, eat 15, eat 20, eat 50. And you eat and you get diarrhea. And see, this manasija, this mind, is such a rascal. It just dreams. It's all about dreaming. And this is why the mind causes the living entity to get born again and again. Because the living entity is dreaming about one material situation after another material situation. And Krishna is saying, okay, you want that material situation? If you have the karma, have it. Krishna fulfills the desire of the living entity. You want to live like a pig? Okay, here, become pig. You want to live like a donkey? Live like a donkey. You know, why in a human form you work like a donkey? We'll give you a body of a donkey, then you have it built for working like a donkey, you live like a donkey, work like a donkey, die like a donkey. So, Krishna gives. Now the living entity, by the mercy of Guru, Brahmande Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, a living entity is said, are you finally sick and tired of this? Are you finally sick and tired of this nonsense that your mind is putting you through? When will you be sick and tired of this? So, and here's the thing, even after we come to Krishna consciousness, the mind is still a rascal. But we have one. So we have what is called the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Guru Hares Charano Pasanastra. We've been given this weapon, Astra. What is that Astra? The Astra is the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. This is the Astra. This is Astra. It's a weapon. What are we supposed to do with this weapon? We are supposed to cut down material desires. How do you cut down from the material desires? Prabhupada writes in this purport, there is one easy weapon by which the mind can be controlled: neglect. And to neglect that, so Krishna, you know, when Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he tells Krishna, his mind is very difficult to control. How is it difficult to control? It's more difficult to control than the wind. You know? So he puts this statement. Now Krishna doesn't, he says yes, it's difficult to control, but the way you're talking about it is as if it's impossible to control. Krishna says no, it's not impossible to control, it's possible to control. We have to understand one thing. If Krishna says the mind can be controlled, the mind can be controlled. Krishna is saying that in Bhagavad Gita. This is what is called faith. You have to place faith in something. Prabhupada writes in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, at least one must approach Bhagavad Gita with some theoretical faith. Theoretical faith that in this book there are things that I don't know and things that can help me. If you approach Bhagavad Gita, isme kya hoga? What is going to be there in this? I'll see. I already know everything in this. You won't get anything. Because such a position of a puffed up person who actually thinks he knows everything. What will you talk to such a person? You won't talk anything to him. You say Hare Krishna to him, give him a little prasadam. That's it. That's all. Okay, sir, you please have this prasadam. That's it. May Krishna bless you. Finished. That's all. Now, but if somebody approaches Bhagavad Gita with theoretical faith, all of us are here, we are sitting here, we are assembled here, we have come here to hear about what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. That means if Krishna is saying the mind can be controlled in Bhagavad Gita, it can be controlled. It can be controlled. And who can it be controlled by? Not just Arjuna, not just Parikshit Maharaj, not just King Rahugana, but by us. That's why it's given to us. Otherwise, why are we reading? A waste of time. Let's see. Are you planning to become a law graduate? No. What's the use if I give you a law book to read? There's no use. Why will you be given that? So if Krishna is giving this and is being distributed widely, then Bhagavad Gita is meant for each and every one of us. It's not meant for some few people. It's meant for each and every one of us. And in that, Krishna is saying, he's saying that mind can be controlled. How can the mind can be controlled? Abhyasena tu kaunteya, vairagyena cha grihyate. He says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya, by suitable practice, vairagyena cha grihyate, and through renunciation. It's the same thing in this verse. Guru Hares Charano Pasanastra. That there are two things that are being done. You have to have neglect of the mind. Srila Prabhupada writes here that gradually the mind should be trained to obey the orders of the soul. The mind is always telling us to do this and that. Therefore, we should be very expert in disobeying the mind's orders. How can you disobey the mind's orders? When you are cultivating little detachment. Without little detachment, you cannot disobey the mind. You're very attached to something. It is not possible. Therefore, actually, in the verse before this, so I read the two verses before that. Then the verse before this, text 16, says, Nayavadetan manamatma lingam samsara tapavapanam janasya yachoka moha mayaraga lobha vairanubandham mamatam vidatte. The soul's designation, the mind, is the cause of all tribulations in this material world. All problems are caused by one thing, mind. Don't blame it on anybody else. Don't blame neighbor. Don't blame boss. Don't blame karma. Even karma, you can blame karma. And karma is caused by your mind. Ultimately, it is the mind. As long as this fact is unknown to the conditioned living entity, he has to accept the miserable condition of the material body and wander within this universe in different positions. Because the mind is affected by disease, lamentation, illusion, attachment, greed and enmity, it creates bondage and a false sense of intimacy in this world. So there is a false sense of intimacy. We don't have anything to do with some apartment that's being built, with that woman or anything. We don't have anything to do with all this. Actually, we don't have anything to do with anything in this material world. We don't have anything to do with our parents, with our children, with our wife, with our money. All this after death is gone. We don't have any. But where is that intimacy coming from? That intimacy is coming from the mind. That mind, how does it cause that intimacy? Through attachment. This is mine. The moment you think something is mine, immediately there is intimacy. And that is a false sense of intimacy because it's not real. Actually, there is no relationship. Soul, we are related to Krishna. That is whom we are related to. We are related to Krishna, we are related to Guru, and we are related to the Vaishnavas. On the platform of Krishna consciousness, this is what we are related to. But right now we feel related to so many things. So gradually one has to cultivate some renunciation. Never, see, when we come to Krishna consciousness, initially devotees tell us, okay, you have to stop meat eating, you have to stop illicit sex, you have to stop intoxication, you have to stop gambling. This is some level of renunciation. You have to chant 16 rounds. That's the positive practice, right? So we're talking about renunciation. But it's not that after we become a devotee and follow 4 regulative principles, that's it. No, we have to constantly keep moving in that direction. Because what? At the time of death, we should not be attached to anything else except Krishna. If we want to go back home, back to God. So how to do that? By practice. Abhyasa enadu kaunte. Vairagya chikritsa. Abhyasa. What is that practice? That practice is sadhana bhakti. That practice is, so Prabhupada writes here, he says, another bona fide process is to abide strictly by the orders of the spiritual master and engage in the Lord's service. Then the mind is automatically controlled. So, we have to engage in Krishna service. We have to engage in following the orders of the Guru. We have to think, how can I serve Krishna? How can I serve Guru? How can I perform more service? By performing this, one develops taste. Simultaneously, one should also think, okay, one should have some, I'm still being a little attached to this. I should give this up gradually. It should be done under guidance, not some monkey renunciation. No. It's not like, okay, now I'm going to become Krishna conscious. Kick the wife out of the house, kick the children out of the house, kick everything out of the house, and then stand there with your hands. I am Krishna conscious. It's not like that. It doesn't work like this. It's not like you fling everything out of the door. Okay, now I am Krishna conscious. Throw everything out of the house, out of the balcony. It's not like that. Not some stupidity. It has to be done under guidance. That type of renunciation is called monkey renunciation. So the type of renunciation we are recommending is not monkey renunciation. Markata Vairagya. See, monkey, you know what it will do? It will eat something. Then, as soon as it grabs something, it will give that up also. But it gave it up to do what? To go to something else. So you give monkey one banana. Then you give the laddu, it will fling the banana. And take the laddu. It's not renounced from the banana. It just jumped to another type of sense gratification. So somebody who is not engaged in service of Guru, Krishna, senior devotees, they are not under guidance, their renunciation is like that of monkeys. It won't last. So this is very important. That Guru Hare's Charano Upasana Astra. Upasana, we have to worship. Charana Upasana Astra. The Astra is worship of the spiritual master. How should it be done? It's said here that the purport Srila Prabhupada writes that says do this with, translation, do this with great care. Vanda Mui Savadhana Mate. It comes in Guru Puja, Vandana, Guru Vandana songs. Vanda Mui Savadhana. Savadhana. With some care you have to approach. And so we should do that with care means, care means with attention. With great attention, one should worship. Then one can conquer over the mind. And Prabhupada says here, if one abides by the orders of the spiritual master, by the grace of Krishna, he is freed from the service of the mind. So just abiding by the orders of the spiritual master. And when the mind tortures us, pray to Krishna. Krishna, why are you bewildering me? Why are you putting your Maya Shakti like this? In front of your Maya, I am nothing. I am nothing in front of your Maya. Please don't bewilder me like this. One should repeat one's desire to, and therefore we are singing in the Guru Vandana prayers, we sing, Guru Puja, we sing, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Arana Ko Riho Mane Ash. I don't have any other desire than the desire to follow the orders of the spiritual master. That whatever Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, the instructions, the words emanating from the lotus mouth of my spiritual master is my only desire. He says it's the only desire. And not only as he said it's the only desire, he said, Aranako Riyamane Ash, I don't have any other desire. Saying it twice in a different way. This is my only desire, I don't want anything else. So now, when we are singing that, are we hypocrites? Because we do desire other things. No. By saying this, by practicing to say this, by understanding this is what I should actually desire. Krishna, actually this is what I desire, but right now my mind wants so many things. But please bring me. Therefore the last verse. Aha Prabhu Korodoya Deho More Pada Chaya. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Deho More Pada Chaya. No? So in this way one has to pray. One has to pray, one has to be sincere, and one should engage in service. How can I serve? How can I serve? And at the same time one should think, okay, how can I make progress? I am making progress by knowing how much I am not attached to the objects of this world. I may perform my duty, but am I attached to the fruits? Or am I even attached to performing the duty for the sake of the duty? Because it gives me some pride, it gives me some sense of security. All this is nonsense. What security? What security can money give? Everybody thinks money gives security. What security can money give? Nothing. Nothing. It's all Maya. Okay. Doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that we take money and fling it out on the balcony like that. Better give it to Krishna. If you want to do something foolish, give your money all to Krishna. Somewhere you will be benefited. But the thing is, one should do it under guidance. One should do it under guidance. Even donations, it's good to give donations, but better done under guidance. You can ask Guru, where can I give the donations? How can I serve? Not whimsical. So, one should cultivate this renunciation and develop a desire to serve Guru. So in this way the mind is controlled. So much more can be said about the mind, but I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. Yes, please.
This purport, Prabhupada
There's
says
another mic. Should we give?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Lord.
Prabhu, in this purport, Prabhupada says that another bona fide process is to worship the orders of the spiritual master and worship Krishna.
But does it mean that the earlier process that Prabhupada mentioned, neglecting the mind, that is also a bona fide process, and how long will it last? Because it can become dry, right? Beyond a point.
Yeah, I mean, you see, the word another, it doesn't necessarily mean alternative. Another can also be together. It also means that it can be done together. The point is that both needs to be done, but among the two, the second one is more important. Following the orders of the spiritual master and engaging in Lord's service is more important than just neglect of the mind. Because when one serves the spiritual master, there is always hope. Whereas if one is trying to neglect the mind but does not have service of the spiritual master, it's gone. He may be able to control the mind, but he won't get Krishna prema. May be able to control the mind, may become a yogi, but what's the use? But still, the previous process has its benefit. And actually by following the orders of the spiritual master, one will be directed to do the previous thing. It's together. But among the two, the second one is very important.
Just one more thing. So in the translation, I'm a little confused. If you look at the second line, if one neglects it or gives it a chance, it will grow more and more powerful.
Right.
But in the purport, Prabhupada says if you neglect it, then that's a weapon. So that's
Okay.
what I'm little.
Yeah, I'll explain that. So this is it's a little contextual there. In the verse, when it means neglect, it means to become careless. It's to become not mindful of the mind, not understanding what the mind is capable of doing. Meaning that one is not careful of the mind. That's what it means. Whereas the neglect below is about disobeying the mind. When you're disobeying the mind, it means you're hearing what it's saying and you're knowing this mind is a rascal telling me to do all these kind of nonsense things, planning to put me into so much problems in the name of some phantasmagoria, some fantasy. So that neglect is that if one neglects it or gives it a chance. So you understand that in that context there. Meaning that gives it a chance means you kind of just like children, no? Generally, I've heard that mothers, especially young children, if for some time they didn't hear anything, they'll become a little concerned. What is it doing? I haven't heard it. No, I haven't heard, but something silently it's doing. Then you go in the back, it might be doing some nonsense. So then the mother becomes. That means you give little chance you give, chance per dance. They say. So it's like immediately, the mind will, take us away. So one has to be very careful. That's the point. Any other questions? Anything else?
So that's minimal.
Sometimes it is difficult to identify that it is the mind talking to us or it is the soul talking to us. So how to identify that it is the mind talking or the soul talking?
So, when we say soul, the soul's constitutional position is to be a servant of Krishna, right? Otherwise, there is no meaning to that soul. It exists, but it is completely covered because that soul doesn't even know that it is a soul. When you understand that you are not this body, you are spirit soul, if you haven't understood that you are servant of Krishna, then when you don't understand this, generally the soul misidentifies itself with the body, so much so that it doesn't even know that it exists. It doesn't know the soul. So, when it said to follow the orders of the soul, it refers to the soul who understands that his constitutional position is to serve Krishna. So, that means anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjana. That if anything is favorable to the execution of Krishna consciousness, then that can be taken as the orders of the soul. If anything is unfavorable to the execution of Krishna consciousness, that comes from the mind. So, how do you know what is favorable to Krishna consciousness, what is unfavorable? You have to have some knowledge, you have to read, you have to hear, you have to take instruction from Guru, Vaishnavas and others. So in this way one will understand, okay, this is beneficial to Krishna consciousness, this is not beneficial to Krishna consciousness. Then we understand. Sometimes, devotees who are very young, or they are enthusiastic. In Bengal, this is very popular. You are going around yatra. People carry around some Laddu Gopal. They carry this around. These are random people. They carry one Laddu Gopal. It's a little bit, a little rasabas, because Mataji is wearing lipstick, all her hair is loose and tight jeans, and then Laddu Gopal is on her thing. So a little rasabas there. It doesn't not look like, it doesn't look like Vaishnavi carrying. Anyways, the point is that, okay, it's nice, at least there might be some attraction, but when we come to Krishna consciousness, devotees will tell them, what is this? You're not even come to the level of being a devotee. How are you having deities? Deity worship, is something that is, it's only qualified people should do. Otherwise, there is aparadh. Right? There is aparadh in worshipping deity. Because deity worship, Krishna is not Barbie doll. Jab chahiye, you comb its hair. Jab chahiye kapda, you can put dress. It's not like that. So Krishna is not. So initially they may think, oh, this is my bhakti. They may feel that I love Krishna so much, I'm carrying him all around, he's my laddu, my lala, like this. But actually that is not favorable to Krishna consciousness. So it has to be given up. But how will they know that? When they come hear from devotee, it looks like it's Krishna consciousness, but anybody who is learned in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, who is chanting as a devotee knows that this is not Krishna consciousness. But others may not know. They will say like that. So in this way one will get some knowledge. Then you will know, okay, this is from the mind and this is from the soul. Anything else? Okay, that's it. Alright, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare